everyone, I'm back, and today I'm going to be doing something a little bit differently, and I think I've said that before in the past, but this time I'm going to be... it's going to be slightly different. I've done something similar before, but it's basically me just talking about a bunch of movies in no particular order, really, and I'm just going to be rambling on. And the question is, how do I get started? Well, I guess I'll just pick something. So what I'm going to be doing is just talking about a bunch of movies that I have, and I'll tell you what I feel about them. Let's get started with this one. I haven't told you how I feel about it, but I saw it recently. The Princess Bride. This was a big surprise for me. I wasn't expecting anything at all going into it, and it was actually pretty funny. It's very similar to what I watched many times as a kid. Robin Hood Men in Tights, just not nearly as good in my opinion. Because that movie is basically just a joke the entire time, and this one is as well. It's kind of a parody of fairy tale stuff, and it's not as committed to being just a comedy and just a big joke of what it's parodying. Men in Tights is basically parodying Robin Hood movies, and yeah, it's pretty fun. I probably won't be watching it in the future, but it had some really funny jokes. I do have my own criticisms with it. There are points where it's really fun and then kind of just And I think there was some of the acting was not so great. And what I mean by that is I couldn't understand what they were saying. That's all I really have to say about The Princess Bride. It's a good movie, but it's just not amazing or anything, And if I were to give it a rating, I'd give it a 6 out of 10. I might watch it again, but I might not. This movie was on my personal watch list for a while. It Follows. This movie was good, not great. I think I've talked about it already on Twitter. And in case you haven't noticed by now, if you haven't been following up on what I've been doing on Twitter, I've basically just been talking about movies that I've seen and giving a mini review. It Follows, I like the first half more than I do the second half. I think that there's a lot... It has a much stronger presentation in the first half, but the acting's solid. But once you get to the second half, they kind of... It does feel as if the concept of the movie is kind of already done at that point, and there isn't really much new that they do with it, and I like the ending, but there really just isn't much after that first half for me. So for ratings, I don't know, 6 or 7 out of 10. There are parts that legitimately scared me, but as the film went on, it kind of just got less and less interesting. And speaking of the director, David Robert Mitchell, that's his name, I watched a film called Under the Silver Lake, and this movie was pretty difficult to come by, and I have the DVD. I didn't get the Blu-ray because apparently those are really hard to find. You have to wait a really long time to get those, apparently. Or maybe that's not true anymore, but... Anyway, so when I heard about that, I was like, I'm not waiting forever for this movie, so... I just got the DVD and decided to watch it, and it was pretty great. Andrew Garfield is great in it. I love where the story goes, if you can even call it a story. But... there's a lot that I love about it. It's not difficult to follow. It knows exactly what it wants to be. It's basically The Big Lebowski. For me, Big Lebowski is not a movie that I particularly like. I know there are people out there who say it's their favorite comedy, and I don't hate the Coen brothers. I just recently saw No Country for Old Men. For a second I was about to say They Shall Not Grow Old, but No Country for Old Men, that was pretty great. Big Lebowski, I just didn't connect with that movie, unfortunately, so I don't have anything against people loving that movie. I always admire seeing people sharing their passion and how they feel about the Big Lebowski, but for me, Under the Silver Lake is the experience I was looking for. Even if it is, like, one could say that it's kind of similar, but I don't know. I can't really pinpoint what Under the Silver Lake gave me that Big Lebowski was unable to give me, but I will say that I think it might have had to do with my expectations, sorry. So that might have been the biggest problem, but I've seen that movie twice now. It doesn't connect with me. I don't find it all that funny. But Under the Silver Lake, that's the movie I wanted. Under the Silver Lake rating, I would give 8, maybe a 9. I think I might go with a 9. Pretty confident about that. Sorry. So, as many of you may know, I have this poster that has like 100 movie bucket list, 100 movies to see before you die, basically. And the Notebook was on there, and I decided to just buy this and get it over with, maybe torture myself. I was kind of hoping it would be funny, possibly, but I was expecting it to be really boring. But about half of it was absolutely hilarious. And I do not regret buying this movie. This will be a film in which I will watch many times throughout my life, because the parts that are really funny are absolutely hilarious. Ryan Gosling gives the only good performance in the movie. Rachel McAdams is awful, but that adds to the comedy for me. So yeah, not a good movie, but definitely a very entertaining one. 3 out of 10. Go see it. It's funny. I think it's funny. I also saw Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2. I'm going to consider it one movie. This might be my favorite Quentin Tarantino movie. And it's that and Pulp Fiction. So I don't really need to say much about Kill Bill since it's been talked about to death already. So all I can say is amazing action sequences, a lot of fun throughout, and very, very satisfying. And I would give it a 10 out of 10, just like Pulp Fiction. 2 10 out of 10s for me. I also saw Drive, starring Ryan Gosling. That was pretty great. I love how it's like a really... The story can feel like really bloated and just out there, but it's a very reserved movie. It feels small scale, which is what I love about it. I love the music choices. Ryan Gosling is excellent in this movie. I think he's one of my favorite actors officially now. I haven't seen anything else from Nicholas Winding Refn yet, but I will. Even though I hear mixed things about his later work. This was definitely worth my time. I'm not sure what I would give it. I think I've rated it already. I gave it like a 10 or something. I don't know. I would definitely rewatch it, and I think I need to see it again to give you a rating. So whatever I gave on Twitter, that's what I'll just stick with, but that's all I have to say for now. I also saw They Shall Not Grow Old. I have plans to talk about this movie more in depth. So, and I think I mentioned in my Season 1 review for Bates Motel that I made a video for that, and I was recording it at an incorrect frame rate, and everything went wrong. So I'll talk about that movie more in detail, even though I don't have too much to say about it. And last but not least, Mandy, starring Nicolas Cage. I watched people talk about it, and one thing I mentioned when I first saw this movie, that I mentioned in my many reviews on Twitter, No, I said it on Facebook because I get more characters to say that. To say this, sorry. Do not watch the marketing. It sucks. It spoils the movie. Don't watch it. So, getting back to Mandy, it's kind of, according to the marketing, it's a revenge story, but without giving anything away, if you go into the movie with those expectations, you're going to be disappointed. Yeah. This movie is 2 hours long, and it doesn't have really much of a plot until hour 2. That's when the plot starts. But for me personally, I think I prefer the first hour more than the second hour. And my reasoning for this is because I felt that there was more to soak in. And in the second half, it's basically just Nicolas Cage killing people. And there's some great and satisfying scenes, but that first half I was more on board for because I don't know, it just engaged me more, and I found I liked the character of Mandy, and I liked the music as well. Basically, the only thing I really remember about the second half is this image of Nicolas Cage. So, if you get that experience, then if you watch the movie and you find yourself noticing a lot of red, yeah, it's not just you. That's what. That's a decision made by the filmmakers or the director. I haven't seen the special features, but I will soon. Sorry about my cat. He's going a little crazy. He's very high on energy at the moment. And last but not least, this is the last movie that I saw that I got, Spirited Away. I'm just kidding. I haven't seen this movie yet, but the reason I got it is because it's on my poster for the 100 movies to see before I die. I'm thinking I'm like 60 movies done. I got 40 left. I can do this. My goal is to finish those 40 remaining movies before the year ends. So yeah, those are just some random movies that I wanted to talk about, and the reason why I decided to talk about them in this fashion is because it encouraged me to make the video, and I give out more. And these are all movies that I recommend. Oh, and I forgot to mention. I did mention, but I didn't really discuss my thoughts on what was it? No Country for Old Men. I really love that movie. Oh, I forgot to give my rating for Mandy. Actually, I'm not going to rate it now because I wanted to give an actual review for that movie. I'm going to make a separate, even though I kind of just made a video for that movie, a full review for that movie here. I think I'll probably make a full dedicated review for it. If not, I'll just give you my rating right here. Like 8 out of 10 for me. I still have some other things to discuss that I haven't discussed quite yet, but I'll save that for the actual review, even if they're just minute things. No Country for Old Men. I will review that one day. I'll give a full dedicated video. And the reason why I'm not reviewing it right now is because I kind of had a bad experience watching it. Because my cat kept running around, and I tried to stop him, and he just wouldn't stop running around, and that kind of ruined my experience. Where it sits right now is 8 out of 10, but could go up. And I'm encouraged to rewatch it. So I can't really discuss much about No Country for Old Men, except that I had a great time watching it. Well, when I was actually able to experience it and not be interrupted by a cat. And there's some other stuff I can talk about, but I'll just save that for another time. Like Gangs in New York, that was pretty good. The Departed, that was pretty good. And that's about it. So I hope you enjoyed the this big ramble on about movies, and I hoped it was entertaining for you to watch. And I hope you watch some movies that will at the very least be a unique experience. So tell me what you thought about these movies down below, except for Spirited Away, because I haven't seen it yet. I will soon, and also I'm in the middle of watching Bates Motel Season 2. I am halfway through that, and I should be reviewing Season 2 as soon as I finish it, which shouldn't be too long from now. So yep, that's my plan. And if you enjoyed this, tell me what you thought down below, like I said earlier. And my social media links, they'll be in the description down below, so follow me there. And last but not least, subscribe to be a part of Foley Nation. And I'll see you when I get my next review up, and we'll see what that'll be. But until then, thank you for watching, and have a great day.